What is up, Retro Maniacs? Welcome to Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike, and I am from Mike's Retro Trading Cards. And I'm joined by two men that will be joining me tomorrow for the 27th consecutive year for our hometown Mike's Upper Deck Fantasy Football League draft. It is intergalactic superstar Joe Day.
And six-time champion.
And six-time champion. And zero-time champion BP Eric Pahalik. How you doing, guys?
Great. Doing good.
We got him 2 weeks in a row about that.
0 for 27, baby.
Wow.
All right,
well, 0 for 26 so far.
That's true. Well, I'm assuming. Come on, let's be honest. I'm going to crack open a double fog monster from the Rusty Rail, which we all went to lunch together today. It was fantastic. So I brought a beer back, and we're going to do that one up. I think I saw Mike had a beer open. There it is.
Nice. From the same place.
From the same place. And in the glass. Very fancy.
Yes, I bought that too. I went all out today with that leftover national money I had.
Cheddar cheese.
Yes. All right. Well, I'll get us a little bit on topic here today. We're usually here to talk about cards, so we'll try to think of something to talk about today. I was watching some videos, and Breakout Cards on their YouTube channel had a little story about PSA authenticating an autograph on a 2021 Topps Through the Years insert of Justin Verlander, which was a clear reprint of his 2005 Topps Chrome autograph, which actually says on the back of the card that it is a reprint and not a real autograph. And somehow PSA certified the autograph as authentic. I don't know where you go from this one. Thoughts?
The crazy thing is, this has happened before with those cards.
Yeah, those cards are terrible, first of all. Yeah,
and there are people who will buy those cards, and people advertise them as autographed.
You see them on eBay all the time. People think they're actually real autographs. So my guess is the person who sent it in didn't realize it wasn't a real autograph either, and somehow it just slipped by the PSA authenticator. It shouldn't. But
it did. When you have 400 graders, they're not all going to be the cream of the crop, man. I mean, shit's going to fall through the cracks when you have that many new graders, especially. And I mean, PSA, man, gift that keeps on giving the whole year, Clark. I mean, I just love shitting on PSA.
I mean, in fairness, all of the authenticators let stuff get through. So I know Joe might be, but I'm not personally hammering PSA for this. Stuff's going to happen. Shouldn't happen. Like, I can understand being duped maybe by an autograph. Maybe somebody did a really good fake. But look at the back of the card. Dude, whoever you are, look at the back of the card. Like, you're an idiot. I mean, if you can't read the back of the card.
The card was the card graded too? And
no, I think it was just certified authentic, the autograph.
Well, even still, even more so, I guess, because you should be able to tell that the autograph was actually
those people are specialized, the ones that are doing the autographs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He knew the auto looked real, but I mean, it's a printed autograph too. It's not even actually signed. I don't know how you make that mistake.
You're right, Mike. All companies do this, but if another company did this, the fanboys would just be falling all over themselves to go to hobby Twitter and just crap all over SGC or BGS or whatever. So when it happens to PSA, Joe Day has to come in and tell them, sometimes PSA screws up too, and it's hilarious when they do it.
Yeah,
they're the biggest and the best. It's kind of fun when the biggest and the best screw up.
It's a bad look.
It is a bad
look. It is a little bit of fun to poke fun at them, though. I mean, I'm not doing that job. I really shouldn't be that critical, but still, it says on the back of the card that it isn't a real autograph. Like, how much time are you spending looking at the autograph in the card if you're not picking up on the fact that it literally says
don't they say 30
not a
seconds?
real autograph?
Don't they say like they spend less than 30 seconds on a card? I
I'm sure they do with like the ones with the grading when they're going through, but still, you would think they'd have a little more time being put into authenticating autographs. So somebody had a bad day.
Yeah. Kind of like what you said, Mike. With the volume of cards they're going through, sure, things are going to fall through the cracks, but this one feels really, really kind of egregious. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody hates the Topps through the years inserts. I mean, but Topps has gotten better over the years in like that card has a picture of a card with a border. So like
right,
the card itself isn't even like, you can tell it's not a real card because you have a picture of the card and then you have a border outside of the original reprint card. So
it's like they're going out of their way to say, "Hey, this isn't a real real autograph card." Like
they might have to put that in big bold letters in the middle of the back of the card and hope
maybe
that
on the front, maybe across the auto.
This is not real. Work product, drafts. Yeah. I mean, all those things.
Yeah. That's like crazy. I mean, yeah. Everybody hates the Topps through the years because they think they have something good and then they don't. And there are a lot of people that don't understand what they are. And you can probably look on eBay right now and find people that think they're real autographs.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
or no, they're not.
This person has a real autograph. Apparently, I don't know. Maybe Topps let this one slip through. It was actually a real autograph card and they didn't know it. I don't know.
And once it's
we're not looking at that angle.
It's slabbed and labeled.
Yep. It has to be real.
The label says it's real.
Well, speaking of real, Goldin and Whatnot broke their 86 Fleer basketball makeup box earlier this week. And apparently none of the packs were tampered with. I guess no 2 unicorn boxes in a row. They were all in the typical order of collation. They were really doing their best to point out like every time there was a flip, where the cards would turn upside down, and then
everyone educated themselves.
Yeah, the collation. But like my point was, if you guys were doing this now, why did you kind of act like nothing was wrong to begin with the other box? like you clearly know that there is a certain collation to the box. That when you get the upside down card that the collation is flipping, the sequence is changing, but you didn't make any mention of anything or act like you knew anything about it. And just back to Steve Hart just trying to pass it off. Again, too many people have too much money invested in BBCE wax to let them fail. They're never going to call out what they should call out, because if they do, they're going to hurt their own pocketbooks. So we're going to act like it never happened, and then we're going to be very specific about the sequence of the cards and the flipping when we're breaking it the next time, but we're going to just go on as business as usual and act like the first one never happened, right?
Right. And in how many months is it going to be before it's like no one's talking about it because they just all let it?
Not even going to take months.
Water off a duck's back, man.
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
I will say I was going to make an effort, and I was just running behind because I'm traveling and this week. But I heard Sports Card Radio did a live stream of them watching the rip. It's on my bookmark. I'm going to watch it. I know it's going to be late news, but I'm sure the brothers had a lot of fun at the expense of Steve Hart and Goldin and all those guys. They've been following this story so great, and it's been so entertaining to watch their stuff. But Mike, to your point, you said, why did they, I think probably we're saying it tongue in cheek. Why did they mention it, at the National when because they didn't know. They had no clue about that. They had no clue about it until Sports Card Radio made a big deal about it. They didn't know what was going on.
Do you think they were flabbergasted at the National? Like, I mean, it's probably, especially on that big stage, and you're like, no,
I don't think they knew. I really don't think they knew.
Yeah, I don't know.
We kind of talked about this a couple of pods ago. Maybe Pac-Man kind of seemed like he might have known. I don't think the folks at Whatnot had a clue, and Card Collector 2 didn't know. I mean, I don't think any of them really knew.
Yeah, I didn't get to see Jeff Wilson open his pack, so I don't know if he got one of the good ones or if he got one of the ones that was in weird order too.
And I'm wondering who's getting, again, are they getting both packs. I think Ziggy No mentioned he thinks they did. They got the folks that were getting the giveaway. You know, if you got a Jordan on the first one, you know, did you still get the pack, or what was that whole situation? I haven't seen anything on that. Again, maybe it was on the live stream from Sports Card Radio, but I definitely am going to go carve 2 hours out of my day and go back and watch that.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't BBCE fighting to have the whole video released of everybody opening every pack, and it was only like some videos that were out there? Wasn't that something that I saw, or one of the videos?
Maybe, but like from what I saw, most of the packs in the box were collated like in sequential number. So, right. And you know, they pulled 2 packs out of it. So you could have a couple normal packs because the ones you put in the box could have been the ones that were normal. Like right. they admittedly said it was a Frankenstein box. So like, even if you show videos of somebody opening it with the proper sequence, you don't know where those packs came from. So, and I think Sports Card Radio made that point too. Like you tampered with it by adding the other packs. Yes. So now you can't turn around and say, oh, well, look, his pack was normal and his pack was normal. Well, yeah, you put other packs in it. So yeah. You're going to have some that are going to be normal because they were probably the ones you put in.
I even heard you make the point, EP, that if 2 packs got pulled, how can you validate the whole box? Yeah. I mean, you can validate 36 individual packs, sure, maybe, but if 2 packs out of 36 are, it's kind of like the adage: if you're eating a sandwich and someone says there's a 1% chance that the lettuce will kill you, are you going to take the lettuce off the sandwich, or are you going to take your chances? I mean, you don't know what's going on with the rest of that box if you're already having to pull 2 packs out of it. I mean, it's clearly just a screwed up box that you shouldn't validate.
I'd be willing to bet that most of the 86 boxes out there right now, or at least several of them, are built boxes or the Frankenstein boxes, just because, I mean, I was probably a lot of people who ended up with half a box and just got another half a box and put it together. You know what I mean? Like, because they were never sealed, right?
Yeah.
When they came from the factory.
And I even remember, Mike, when you had the shop, I mean, you'd get down to the last couple packs of SP. You'd start a new box and just put those couple extra packs. I mean, that could have happened how many times where by the end of it, you still had 36 packs, but it was from like 10 different boxes, you know?
Yeah, true. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, not going to make any difference at the end of the day, unfortunately. You know, I think people really are starting to forget about it already. Like, nobody's holding BBC accountable for this. Nobody cares. And, you know, it's the sad part of the hobby that the people with the money invested are going to protect the people that, you know, make them the money that they have their money invested in. So
I don't want to step on the host's toes. Are you going to bring up Propstein's comments in response to this?
Go ahead.
I mean, talk about a tone deaf response. If you haven't seen it, go and check out. I think he put it on a video on Instagram, and it's like, you can tell that man has a lot of concerns about, you know, auctions he's running. He's a consignment, for those of you who don't know. Propstein, is it Propstein or Propstein? I always say it wrong, no matter which. Propstein. I mean, guaranteed he has stuff that's certified from BBCE that he runs.
Oh, they sell a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Guaranteed he has graded packs or certified packs from PSA that BBCE has authenticated. I mean, it sounds so, and I have 40 plus years of experience in the hobby. Okay. But you also have a lot of money invested in this very specific thing that you don't want to get screwed up, you know? So I take what you say with a grain of salt.
He has 40 years experience, but he couldn't take 5 minutes to watch the video to actually even know what was happening. Like, he clearly had no idea. He never watched the video. Like, his response was completely tone deaf. It had nothing to do with the actual reality of the situation. All it was I'm a guy who's been doing this for a long time, and this company didn't do anything wrong. Like, it's what I expected. You know, you're going to see the people that are going to come out and protect BBCE because they have money invested in it, or they make money off of it. Like, again, this happens a lot in the hobby. PSA could probably get away with doing anything right now, and nobody would it would never affect the business at the end of the day. It wouldn't affect the hobby because everybody has their money tied up into it. So you're not going to say, well, that company is terrible now but I have a whole stack here and I have tens of thousands of dollars in. So you're going to go, well, everybody makes mistakes.
Right.
So,
and Sports Card Radio coined this phrase about this whole cabal of them, the good old boys network. I mean, it really is what it is.
Yeah, and it's not going to change. And again, what makes me mad, and I said it before, is that person who doesn't have a ton of money invested in it that wants to get something they think wasn't tampered with, and they save up money and they pay a little more for that wrapper, and there's no guarantee. There's really not necessarily any difference between buying a regular box without that wrapper on it or buying one with it, and they're the people that it's going to hurt if they end up getting a screwed up box. So
if someone bought 3 packs of 89 Score and got GI Joe cards in them, you never know. Watch our rip roast, Mike. I'm sure you'll post it soon.
Coming soon. Yes,
coming soon. GI Joe cards.
Let's hope.
Yeah. Mike, you said about how everybody's got their money tied up into it, and I think it's there might be somebody saving up for a box like that, but I feel like the people who will be affected by it are like the really high end, the people who have like national treasures or can afford national treasures. So I wonder if maybe the reason why we're not hearing a lot about it is because those people all have their money tied up into it, and the people like us, it's not really our thing.
They're not going to talk badly. They're not going to ruin the reputation of a company that they have money invested in, whether they should or shouldn't. And that's what my point is. Like, it's those people that are going to allow this stuff to continue to happen because they don't want to hurt their own investment and they don't want to hurt their own bottom line. So fine, we don't care what happened, because if we did, we would lose money. So we don't care, and we're not going to care. And we're just going to have people come out and say, oh, this could happen to anybody. We're going to brush it off, and people aren't going to talk about it. And again, EP, when you go to buy a BBCE box, you might get GI Joe cards instead of 89 Score, and then it's because the people just allow this to happen because they don't want to lose money. That's my opinion. I'm not changing it. Like, that's how I feel.
Preach.
All right. Well, a little bit more bright side news, I guess I could say, was for the first time in a long time, the three of us went into a card shop together today.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's wild.
We hit up our local card shop, Yukon Cards and Comics in Montandon, PA. If you're anywhere close, go in, see John. He's a great guy. It's a great shop. It reminds me of the 90s kind of shop, like just a fun place to be. And just talk a little bit, Joe, especially you. I don't think you've been in one of those kind of shops for quite a while.
So the local card shop next to my house in Pittsburgh is, I made this comparison. It's like John's shop that we went into today reminded me of Mike's shop because it was like that old record store on the corner on Main Street of a small town. You went in, nothing was like perfectly organized. Things were kind of, there was a hodgepodge of stuff. Where the local card shop that I could go into, which I went into once, and I was like, I'm done. No, twice. They said they had something and they didn't. I'm like, nope, I'm out. It reminded me of like an FYE, like one of those old CD stores that was all, everything's pristine and organized and flashing lights and, very, very, what's the word? I feel like EP right now. What's the word? It's very like manicured. It didn't seem as just gritty as one of these card shops. So John, he's great. And I loved hearing him talk. It reminded me of actually your dad bitching about stuff, like he was really going after, I think he was complaining about Panini and hoping that, he still got some sort of, connection with Fanatics when they take over. And, and it was nice going in there. I found a couple of things that I probably could have bought on eBay, around the same price. But yeah, I'd rather give John a little bit of scratch.
Yeah, I picked up a couple cards too. A 50-cent Alonzo Mourning rookie card, which I have one graded already. I have one that's not graded, but like I can't let it go for 50 cents. Like he's got those boxes of cards lined up. It's really, that's the fun part. I've seen a couple of videos where people like us have gotten back into cards, and maybe they hit good on a couple of cards and they open up their own shop, and you look at it and they got like their cases are lined with lights, and so it's like almost like a museum instead of like an actual card shop. And
Card Collector 2 shop is like that. It doesn't seem like someplace I would enjoy going into. You feel like you can't touch anything without gloves on, you know.
Yeah, it's a good time there. I mean, the boxes of cards he has there, like as many times as I've gone in.
Did you buy some boxes?
Well, I may have. I don't know. But yeah, I went in last week to look for WWE Select, and he didn't have any. And just so happened today when we got there, he said, "Hey, look what I got in." I'm like, "I'll take them." So didn't even have to think twice about that. But yeah, I got 2 boxes of that. Opened one already. Very good. I
what?
What do you think?
Impossible.
What do you think? I'm gonna buy a box.
I went to Walmart, and before I even got back here.
I don't even think you got to do it at the house. He opened it up in the driveway in his car.
I may have, I may not have. I'm not going to answer that, but yeah. But it was a fun.
How'd you do?
I did pretty well, actually. Not too bad. I got
better than your Prism, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, be kind of hard to do worse, but yeah, pretty well. So I'll share that maybe in another later video. But yeah, did well. But I was happy that he had those, and I always love to give him my business. You know, I love walking into a card shop and leaving with something in your hands instead of having to sit on eBay and order something and wait for it to come. It's just a different experience. And like I said, if anybody's in the central Pennsylvania area, make sure you get there, because it's a fun place to go. I just brings me back to when I have my shop, so I really like it there.
And he doesn't have like a wall of unopened stuff, but I mean, he's got some really cool stuff in there. He's got like Game of Thrones Lair Anniversary, Star Wars Master. Like he's got a couple of different Bowman boxes for baseball. Like it's a really cool selection.
Yeah, he does.
Deep Space Nine set that I had when I was a kid. Come on now, it's got 2 Spectre cards in here. I was $3.
I was disappointed you didn't buy the Star Trek box where you got 4 autographs out of it.
I'm like kind of itching now. I'm like, damn it, I should have.
It's because Rob was there, right? Is that why?
Yeah, I didn't want to spend the money. Rob was there, and I didn't want to. I'd spent some money this week, so I thought maybe I'll hold back a little bit.
We'll learn more about that on the channel in the coming days, I'm sure. Okay, guys. Well, I thought this week we could all maybe give a little bit of a hot take we have on the hobby and riff on that for a little bit. So I know that Joe and I are really excited to hear what EP's hot take is. So we're going to let you start things today.
He was priming us up over lunch, man.
He was building it up.
I've been thinking about this for weeks. I've been thinking about this for weeks.
Geez.
Okay.
Great.
Because I've been pricing my cards for the stack sale.
Okay.
This is more
hashtag the other guy stacks.
Hashtag the other guy stacks. So I can't handle people mislabeling cards. This is a much bigger deal, I think, in baseball than in football. But when they label a baseball card an SP variation when it's the base card, and when they label a card a rookie card when it's not a real rookie card, it messes up all the searches and it deceives people. And it takes me off to no end.
Oh my God.
There's a base card.
More like a grinds my gears segment.
Well, I mean, I don't understand why people are doing this. Like, I just don't understand.
Yeah, eBay is a really bad place to look stuff up, because a lot of lazy people that don't do things the right way, they don't change their item specifics, and you can be looking for a Ken Griffey card and end up with a Venus Williams card. I don't know, because somebody didn't change the name and the item specifics.
Yeah, they're either lazy or deceitful, and either way, I mean, I hate being part of that or witnessing that, I guess.
Now, does it have to have a certain code on the back to be able to put SP or SSP on it? Okay.
No, it just takes a little bit of
a conversation we've had with some people before.
Some of them are like that, but I mean, most of them, a lot of them are photo variations. So they have a different photo than the main one. There's the base card, and then there's a photo variation.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and so people are just too lazy to look it up, and they just say, "Oh, well, this is one of the variations." No, There's a difference.
I've only seen EP fired up this much one other time, and it involved me doing a survey at a restaurant. So, I mean, this is
that was ugly. Ugly.
I was pretty fired up for that too.
I could tell, yeah.
Well, and with that, it's like I would like, pricing the Brady cards I'm putting up on eBay and things like that. I'm looking for comps, and it's like the amount of cards that people designate as Tom Brady cards. That like anything from say 2000 metal, like that will come, like Sean Alexander metal rookie. I'm like, why is this in the search? What is happening right now? And it drags actually the comps down sometimes, right? So you'll look at the comps and it's like, well, no, the Brady comps, and then you have people who are too lazy and they're like, no, you're comping this at a $950 card. Look, it says right here, it's $750 is the average sale. I'm like, oh, Jesus God. Scroll down. Yeah. They're not always going to be perfect.
Just give a little bit of effort. That's all we're asking.
Effort.
Just a little bit of effort. That's it.
Can't argue that. All right, I'm going to give my hot take here. You guys know I'm into wrestling cards, right? I don't think anybody too big of a surprise.
Really?
But, most of the wrestling community might hate me after I give this hot take. But my hot take is I think that Hulk Hogan is a terrible long-term investment. I really think that the person he has turned into in his later years, stuff that he's been accused of, he's been, caught on tape using racial slurs. He's been kind of a whack job at times with some of the things he's done on social media. And I know most of the younger wrestling fans really don't care about Hulk Hogan. And, they're actually turned off by the person that he's become. And I kind of feel like maybe after my generation ages out a little bit, that I don't think you're going to have a Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle kind of situation with Hulk Hogan long term. I feel like he's too polarizing, and there are too many people that are turned off by the person that he became later in life to really care. Like, who's going to pay for the Wrestling All-Star card, for instance? Like, the ridiculous prices that are being paid now once this generation starts dying off a little bit and you're left with a bunch of people that really don't like him. Like, it's not a good recipe for long-term success. So I think Hulk Hogan isn't a very good long-term investment, and I'm sure people will disagree with that, but that's how I feel. Just don't think he's going to be popular enough with younger people. Hate him. Like, the newer wrestling fans hate his guts. Like, they don't want him anywhere near a wrestling program, and they're not going to be buying his card.
If you didn't sell the if you have Wrestling All-Star cards of Hulk Hogan and you are not selling them now for the massive amounts of money they're going for, which, by the way, I think some of that's inflated. I really don't think that's their true sale.
I agree.
It's like, there's some market manipulation.
There's
going
some
on
hype
there.
Yeah,
there is some hype there. I mean, and people buying paying massive amounts for autograph cards of his, which he'll autograph literally anything you send him. You send him a check for like $50 and a card or a belt or whatever. You can go down to his beach shop and just walk in and throw a stone at him and he'll autograph it for you. I mean, he's, so people, I think they miss the opportunity, or they're getting to the point where they potentially could miss the opportunity of getting this huge windfall off of the value of these Hogan cards, which are they are objectively, again, maybe some market manipulation, but they are right now through the roof. So I don't think to me, a clueless person wouldn't move those cards and make a boatload of money on them now if they actually could. If there are as many collectors as they like to believe there are, sell them. And then eventually they will go down, Mike. I totally agree with you. And guess what? In the words of Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics, they'll let you buy them back. I mean, you could go back and get them when they are worth a lot less. Sell them now while they're through the roof.
It's like a hot stock, sell it when it's really hot and then pick some back up when it cools down a little bit. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a little upsetting because, growing up, like Hulk Hogan was the man, right? He was fun to watch and great.
I got interested because of him.
Yeah. I mean, like, just like a great character in this crazy sport and entertainment sport, and it's kind of like a lesson on like maybe you don't want to ever like meet your heroes or whatever.
Heroes, yeah.
You don't want to get close to your heroes. You don't want to. Social media and everything has kind of made everybody, the whole world, a lot smaller, and now you're seeing some of the.
Ty Cobb didn't have social media, right? I mean,
yeah, right.
Yeah,
we all kind of know he was racist, but thank God he didn't have social media.
How many players back then?
Right, yeah, pretty much
you know?
everybody.
Yeah.
Let's be happy they didn't have
right.
it.
But you know, I mean, to me, it would be like if Tom Brady just say he retired and you know whatever and just started saying just randomly racist and homophobic things on like Monday Night Football or Thursday Night Football or whichever one he's taken over. Like, could you imagine that? He just starts, you know, dropping racial epithets, and you're like, oh, his cards might take a little bit of a dip, you know. So yeah, I completely agree with you. It's a hot take for sure because you're going to get a lot of pushback from old school wrestling folks.
But I'm going to.
I think reasonable people who kind of get the landscape. I think they're with you.
I don't collect him now. Like I mean, I don't, and not that I would be looking to buy any of the older cards or anything of his anyway. I think they're overpriced right now, so I wouldn't put my money into them. But you know, I like if I were given X amount of dollars, I'm buying probably The Rock because you know, huge Hollywood star,
Cena.
Maybe on Cena. Yeah, like I feel like that's where the money should be going if you want to invest in wrestling cards. I think Hogan.
Peace.
Yeah. I think that the Hogan ship is just not. I think it's going to sink at some point. Yeah. So,
what was the movie he was on with Zeus where they had like the octagonal?
No Holds Barred.
No Holds Barred. Yes,
that was it. One of the best, worst movies of all time.
What a great piece of cinema! Yeah. Oh yeah, I watched that not too long ago. It was on one of the streaming.
It's held up.
Oh yeah, it held up. In one way or another.
Exactly how you remembered
it. Exactly, yeah. Crazy stuff.
That's funny.
So that's my hot take. How about you, Joe? Let's wrap us up here.
All right. My hot take, and maybe it's not as hot as I like to think it is, but in about 5 years, any RPAs are going to be absolutely worthless.
Wow.
Absolutely worthless because we are so just saturated with autographs in boxes of cards, with authentic memorabilia in boxes of cards. You even see it kind of now. I saw a post on Twitter. There was a Black Finite 1/1 Davis Mills was somehow worth more than an RPA of Trevor Lawrence, which I believe was also a 1/1. So I just think, you know, we had the junk wax era. Some people call this era maybe the junk slab era, which I get that. I really think we're in the junk RPA era. And I think these cards that are going for tens and $20,000 are going to be not worthless. Obviously, I'm, you know, a little hyperbole there, but they are going to there is going to be a massive crash with those cards. Because I think when Topps takes over the licenses, Topps doesn't have like, oh, you're going to pull, you know, 5 autographs, 3 RPAs out of this box that cost you $10,000. You're going to have a box of cards. It's going to have an autograph or 2, and it's not going to be just saturating us with those RPAs that everyone is obsessed with now, which by the way came out in like the 90s. Let's just chill out.
Yeah,
but I really think that there's going to be this huge market correction on RPAs.
Do you think it's going to drag down the value of like the ones before this era? Like, do you think it's going to also drag down those, or do you think they're going to hold their value?
No, because they're actually scarce. Okay. If that makes sense. Like these are, I think they're produced scarce. They're manufactured scarcity, right? So you have the out of 149. You know, it's kind of the same way with the color, the different color matches and things like that. You know, there's the RPAs that are out of 199. Then there's the ones out of 149. Then there's the true RPA vertical out of 99. And then the true RPA horizontal out of 99. I mean, and beyond that, it's all fake. It's literally just pieces of jerseys or sweaters that no player has ever worn before or even looked at. Right. So I think that is just going to really cause the whole market to come down, and it really bums me out. Well, no, actually, it actually makes me happy because Kenny Pickett will have cards in this era, and in a couple of years, I'll be able to scoop up those Pitt RPAs that he's autographing. So that's my hot
Especially
take.
after he fails in the NFL, right?
You shut your mouth. You go straight to hell. The future. Go, Kenny Pickett.
Okay.
All right, what do you boys think? Am I crazy?
I get where you're going with that. I just you have a limited product, but you make a whole bunch of different variations of a limited product. It's something we've talked about quite a bit with the card industry, and like you're giving people more options 5 years down the road who are looking for an RPA of a player. Like, instead of only having one or two sets that they could buy that all the demand is going to be focused on, they have more that they can choose from. We've talked about this many times. So I do think that could hurt their value long term, because 10 years from now, if you want to buy a Mac Jones RPA, you have a lot more options.
Every set.
So
literally every set.
So if you just want one, you're not necessarily going to pay $20,000 for one. You might go, oh, I can get this one for like $200. I'm going to buy that one instead, because you have more options out there. So again, the demand won't be as focused on, a minimal number of sets.
But that's good for the hobby though, right?
It's good for collectors.
For
collectors, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We talked about this on the ride up to the card shop today, and when we were getting lunch, someone posted on Twitter that they found someone listed on eBay a Mac Jones RPA from Select out of 99. His true RPA went for $600. One of the best cards you could pull, $600. The box of Select is what, $1,500? I mean, you kind of are already seeing it. 16. You're kind of already seeing it a little bit, because again, you don't even have to. Maybe it's not a hot take. Maybe I'm just saying the obvious, at this point.
Yeah, definitely something to think about. And, a lot of it too, I think, will depend on the popularity of the sets that are collected now after Fanatics takes over. Like, we don't know what's going to happen with the intellectual property of the
National
Panini
Treasures,
products. And I'm sorry, I've seen it before. It going away won't make it more desirable. That, like, I've heard that people saying, oh, well, if they don't make any more, it's going to be more about, no, that's usually
people are just going to forget about it.
Yeah. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yep.
People like to collect whatever is hot, whatever is popular at the moment. So if, Prism or whatnot isn't around in 5 years, collectors are going to forget about that, and the values are going to go down because of it. So, like, there are a lot of it's unknown yet what's going to happen. Like, we have to all assume Fanatics will probably one way or another end up with some of that intellectual property. Yeah, because they can keep putting Prism out, which will be good for the stuff that's put out now. That'll help. Yeah. But I mean, when you're talking about cards that are like $30,000 and $50,000, a 10% drop in price, even that is a pretty big hit. So yeah, we're not talking about cards like back in the old days where you had a $10 card that went down to $8 in the back. Like, oh no, your $100,000 card that's $80. Yeah, that's a little rougher. So
I mean, we'll talk about this on, I'm sure I'm going to document the journey of one of the Grail cards I got, but I spent around $4,000. Okay. That's nothing. Yeah. That is nothing. Yeah. I see people open up boxes that are $4,000 and get $500 worth of value out of it.
Like 5 cards out of it.
Yeah, 5 cards out of it. So I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I just spent X amount of dollars on a card. Nothing. That's a drop in the ocean, man. That's ridiculous.
Okay, guys. Well, pretty good chat this week for not really having anything to talk about.
I'm on location and everything.
You are, yes. We are all in fantasy football mode. So we apologize if we're a little off this week, but we gave it our best. So we'll be back next week. Good chat, guys.
Yep. Adios.